Welcome back to Let's Take a Walk, brought to you by the Feld Group Institute. I'm Brittany Butcher, and today we're doing something a little bit different. It's Thanksgiving week, and it feels like the perfect moment to slow down, take a breath, and reflect on the people, the teams, and the quiet moments that make our work and our lives meaningful. Instead of a guest interview or archive conversation, this will be a short solo episode. Think of it like a walk around the block together, just enough time to reconnect and remember what really matters when things get busy. So wherever you are, take these next few minutes for yourself and let's take a walk. Thanksgiving is a funny holiday. It comes with no real rules except to show up and be grateful, which, if you think about it, is not a bad blueprint for leadership either. So today I'm inviting you to take a slow, simple walk with me through a few ideas that have been showing up again and again in our conversation with our community, our leaders, and each other this year. So what does it mean to be thankful as a team? What does gratitude look like in the confusing, messy, busy, high-stakes world of transformation? Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the hidden architecture of gratitude. One thing I've learned from Charlie and from our community is that gratitude isn't soft and it's not decorative. It's structural and it's part of the architecture. It shows up in how people treat each other when no one is watching. It shows up in how teams rally around a problem instead of just a person to blame. It shows up in the little moments of I've got you, or let's figure it out, or it's not perfect yet, but we're getting there. Gratitude is fuel that keeps high-performance teams generous instead of territorial, curious instead of defensive, and connected instead of isolated across silos. And when you think about it, so many of the stories from our community share that same backbone. When people step in for each other, lift each other up, and dare to believe in each other's full potential. Gratitude isn't the reward at the end. It's the enabler. Second, let's talk about the power of showing up. Thanksgiving reminds us how much of life and leadership is just showing up. You have to show up to the hard meetings. You have to show up in the 2 to 3 years in the middle of the messy transformation. You have to show up for one more conversation when you're tired at the end of the day. You have to show up and listen, even though you might know you're right. Our community talks about this all the time. The discipline of presence, of setting aside time on your calendar. Not the big speeches or the big moments, but the dozens of unglamorous moments that stack up into the trust that builds your team. That's what I love about Charlie and this community. Charlie's calendar still exists as he preaches. At the beginning of each week, it's almost empty. And by the end, you look back and there's barely 15 minutes to spare in a day. That any time of the day, any time of the week, any time of the month, problem solving for friends across the country and the world. It's all part of this same pattern. Presence is a gift, but it is also a practice. Third, let's talk about the quiet teachers. One thing I've seen over and over this year is how the best teachers are often not the loudest ones. They quietly model what matters. They don't need a megaphone. They lead by example. Charlie always talks about what good looks like. And the longer I do this work with him and the Feld Group Institute, the more I realize that the people who quietly embody those values are the ones who hold everything together. The teammate who checks in after a tough week. The leader who gives credit away or accepts the blame. The person who says, let's slow down and do it right, while the world is shouting, as Charlie says, just ship it. These quiet teachers and leaders are everywhere in your companies, your teams, and your families. During this Thanksgiving week, think about them, the people who aren't the headline, but they're the backbone and the heartbeat of your teams and your families. Fourth, gratitude for the long haul. If I had to choose one thread running through all of our Let's Take a Walk episodes this year, it's the long haul, the long arc, the idea that meaningful change is going to take seasons, not sprints. And Thanksgiving, in a way, is the ultimate long arc holiday. It's about honoring people and work that made the moments this week possible, often long before we even showed up. So today, to our community, I say thank you for doing this long haul work in a short attention span world. Thank you for being leaders who invest in people. Thank you for building systems that last. Thank you for not giving up when the middle is confusing or when a culture feels stubborn or when the technology is fighting back. Transformation is never linear, but keep choosing the path that takes patience and an artistic eye. That in and of itself deserves a moment of gratitude. Fifth, let's think about the small joys and the big meaning. Let's step back for a moment, and I don't know what your Thanksgiving looks like. Maybe you're hosting, maybe you're traveling, and maybe you're just hiding in the pantry from some toddlers for 90 seconds of quiet. But no matter the setup, I hope you get a chance to enjoy the small things. The first piece of turkey when it comes out of the fryer, your kids running around with their cousins, the walk you take after the meal with someone you love, the very brief moment where a kitchen is finally clean, or the nap that you're going to take that you pretend is unplanned. These small things matter, and they will refill your well. You cannot be a great teammate, a great leader, a great family member if your well is bone dry. Joy isn't optional, it's restorative, and it's part of your job. My Thanksgiving wish for you is simple. May you give yourself the gift of gratitude this week, not just for the people around you, although I hope that you tell them, but also gratitude for yourself, for the work you've done, for the resilience you've shown, the relationships you've built, and the growth you may not see until you look back. Have a warm, restorative Thanksgiving. And as always, thanks for being here. I'll see you next time on Let's Take a Walk.